going to happen. So with that, I'd like to ask a highly respected gentleman, Kevin Hassett, this for a long time, and he's been right about a lot. We had the greatest economy in history in the first term, and Kevin was a big part of it. So Kevin, could you maybe give it a little description, please?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Trump. I think that the three things that you emphasized during the campaign is that you wanted to create domestic, high-paying manufacturing jobs, that you wanted to end wasteful government spending, and reduce the unproductive government workers, and in fact, unleash them into the private economy where they could be more productive, and to create jobs for Americans. A lot of people said that if you deported illegals, that employment would go down because no Americans would take those jobs. And if you look, 280,000 American-born folks were hired, manufacturing jobs are going up. And this is just out of the expectation of your future policies, really, sir. It's in April when your Reciprocal Trade Act is expected to happen. The tax cuts haven't passed yet. And so people are clearly expecting the golden age. And if you want to forecast the future numbers, everybody, just keep in mind that President Trump has already gotten us 1.7 trillion in commitments of new factories. And those haven't even happened yet. Those aren't even in the numbers. And so I expect this is going to be a glimpse of the golden age to come, sir.
Thank you very much.
And
one other thing, Canada, we find that they're charging us over 200% for dairy products. You know about that. And when I left, we had that well taken care of. But under Biden, they just kept raising it. Very difficult to deal with, the Canadian representatives. 250% for dairy products, tariff. So where do you hear that? You don't hear that. They have a tremendously high tariff, give you the exact numbers in a little while coming out, on lumber. So they sell us lumber. They have a tremendous tariff. They make it impossible for us to sell lumber or dairy products into Canada, but our numbers are a tiny fraction of that, almost non-existent. And what we're doing is freeing up our forests from the environmental nonsense that they put on them, where you can't cut down a tree. And we have to cut down trees in order to build the firewalls. And those trees are sold, but we're freeing it up on an emergency basis because Canada has been ripping us off for years on tariffs for lumber and for dairy products. 250%, nobody ever talks about that. 250% tariff, which is taking advantage of our farmers. So that's not going to happen anymore. They'll be met with the exact same tariff unless they drop it. And that's what reciprocal means. And we may do it as early as today, or we'll wait till Monday or Tuesday. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to charge the same thing. It's not fair, never has been fair. And they've treated our farmers badly. Look, our country's been ripped off by everybody, and that stops now. I had it stopped in my first term, and we're going to really stop it now because this has been very unfair. Our country, from an economic standpoint, and financial standpoint, and a trade standpoint, has been absolutely ripped off by almost every country in the world. Canada, Mexico, and then you just go right down the line. India charges us massive tariffs, massive. You can't even sell anything into India. It's almost restrictive. It is restrictive. We do very little business inside. They've agreed, by the way, they want to cut their tariffs way down now because somebody's finally exposing them for what they've done. And same thing with China, same thing with India, a lot of other countries. And the EU has been a terrible abuser of this country. I mean, the EU was formulated in order to take advantage of the United States, and they have taken it, but they're not taking advantage when I'm in charge. So sometimes you'll hear some negative things. It's always from outside countries. America will be very strong. And, if I'm a foreign country, they're going to do fine, but they can't do like they used to do because we're going to bring back our business into this country. We need it from a job standpoint. We need it from even just a psychological standpoint.
We had no idea. They don't tell the people this. 250 on tariffs from Canada. What are we getting from Canada other than wood, dairy products, lump syrup? Everybody loves their real maple syrup. Very interesting. Very interesting. So now he's going to tariff them the same? I don't know what, how, is this going to cost the American people is my question. Right? I mean, we're already paying $6 for syrup. I mean, how, are you kidding me? I mean, $7, I think, $9 or something for syrup. I mean, if you go pure maple syrup, you're going to pay big dollar. It's become like crack cocaine. And it's the same thing with butter. Why? Well, we love our butter sausage. Ask Gary Busey, he'll tell you. All right, so let's get back to this and see what else is going on.
So we're not going to have that, and we're going to see them build it back. Now we've already had 5 major automobile companies. First time you've heard this in a long time, since my first term, actually, where we were really rocking and rolling, and then Biden came in and he stopped everything. Like such a stupid thing to do, not even a believable thing. But we have many auto plants now coming in. We have big chip plants. We have the biggest chip company in the world, most powerful, probably one of the most powerful companies in the world. Wouldn't you say, Kevin? And he's coming in, and they're building one of the largest chip plants in the world. That'll be done in Arizona, mostly in Arizona. And that'll give us a big percentage. That one plant will give us a big percentage of the chip market, something we have very little of. We used to have Intel, and Intel was run by a man named Andy Grove.
Good morning, Miss
And Andy Grove was a tough, smart guy. I used to read about him when I was a young man, and he did an incredible job. He really dominated the chip business. And then he
Good morning, Miss Pointer Lover. Miss Fox, good morning. You see what's going on in chat. We are going to pay for these tariffs as much as the syrup, Michigan, and New York get electricity from them. Sorry, I can't stay. You can never stay. You're on the run constantly. Right back in the day, they called it on the lam. I understand. You're loved here, though. We love you, even though you're an Elva. And on the lam. We love you here, Miss Pointer Lover. Have a great day. We'll see you in the other chats. God bless you. Let's see what Miss Debbie Fox said. Hey, what's up? How you doing? We've had an interesting day. We've had a very interesting day here on this channel. There's not much I can do about it. We just go with it here. So let's get back to this. You're right. The tariffs, everybody's tariffs. I shot the tariffs, but I didn't shoot the deputy. Go spread that amongst the YouTube lambs. I mean, what are we going to do? Are you going to tell us we got to now hate the people in Canada? I mean, we wouldn't have such great comic movies if it wasn't for Second City. We wouldn't have some of the greatest rock bands out there if it wasn't for Canada. Oh, Cannonball and Cannonball. What do they do for us? I have no idea. They've done nothing for me. But we still love them because they're our closest neighbors that speak English. Well, what can we do? Not much. Let's get back to this video.
died, and I guess they had a series of people that didn't know what the hell they were doing, and we gradually lost the chip business, and now it's almost exclusively in Taiwan. They stole it from us. They took it from us, and I don't blame them.
You people ain't got enough in your countries. You got to steal our chips. Is that what I'm hearing? Taiwan stole our chips? Listen, I ain't got time to go over to Bangkok and get our chips. They weren't their chips to take anyways, and America loves our chips, and we got holidays coming up this summer and cookouts. All along, all this madness was created to do what? Steal our chips. I love chips. I love them jalapeno cheddar Cheetos, Chester Cheetos. Them are great. But you people have gone too far. We were going to give you the canal. We were going to do everything. We were going to do this, that. And then we find out you're stealing our chips. It's no wonder our world has gone crazy. Let's get back to this episode. This soap opera of chip wars.
I give them credit. I blame the people that were sitting in this seat because they allowed it to happen. We could have protected that so easily. But so we had the chip business, and now it's all in Taiwan, almost exclusive, a little bit in South Korea, but mostly in Taiwan. And it's very important. Everything you do, everything you touch is now about chips. The brake of a car, the cars have chips all over the place. I was reading an article the other day where they talk about the brakes of a car are loaded up with chips. Who would think that a brake has a chip?
Now they want our computer chips along with our potato chips. You know, how far do we have to go? I don't know. But this is ridiculous. And he's right. Everything is gone chip. Everything is gone computer in cars when they shouldn't have. As simple as flicking a lever to control your dashboard heat from dash to defrost to that goes out. Well, now you're stuck with just nothing, right? Everything's got a chip on it. The chip goes bad, the whole car, it's useless. Disc brakes, well, they were good enough, right? But now they got chips on them and all kinds of stuff. And if you lose a chip in a tire, then the tire light comes on. You got a bad tire. Everyone's stopping, looking, my God, my tire's flat. When it's just a computer chip sensor that went bad, and now you got to spend $500 just to fix that. It's just unbelievable. I don't know. But I can tell you one thing, you're not going to get away with this. Stealing our potato chips and computer chips. Let me tell you folks why. Because one of my mods is an AI chip. Great, incredible woman. She's much like that superhero fighter or whatever that was in that movie. Was it Wolverine or whatever, where she changes colors? And Debbie, what's the name of that woman that was in the superhero movies that would change and have spikes and then she would change into a perfect, beautiful woman, but then change into something else? Anyways, that's one of my mods, Miss Debbie Fox, who has a chip in her brain. She knows all. More than the Great Oz. More than Ernie Shell, definitely. And probably Queen Bee. Let's get back to this video.
But it's all about chips. So that was a big thing. And they'll be investing hundreds of billions of dollars in this country, and we'll be taking back a big portion of that industry. We have others coming in too. But a lot of car manufacturers are coming in, and they're coming in fast. And one of the reasons you see these numbers, and again, Kevin said it, and I said it a little bit, but the fact that they know I won the election. So after I was president-elect, they assumed that I was going to do what I said, because I do what I say. And so these numbers really reflect a lot of things that took place since November 5th, right? So Kevin, thank you very much. Great job. Any questions?
Mr. President, how concerned are you that the large-scale federal government layoffs will weaken the labor market? How concerned are you?
The large-scale fentanyl what?
The federal government layoffs will impact the labor market, will weaken the labor market.
Oh. No, I think the labor market's going to be fantastic, but it's going to have high-paying manufacturing jobs as opposed to government jobs. We had too many people in government. You can't just do that. We had many too many. This is for 40 years. You know, this isn't just now. This built up and got worse and worse, and they just hire more and more people. You look at Department of Education, it seems like so many buildings I ride by, it says Department of Education. They're all over the place. And we don't even want it. We want the education to be given by the states. It'll be much better. It'll move us to the top of the list from the bottom of the list, and actually save us money. But not, it's too important to even talk about them. It'll save us a lot of money, but we don't want that. We want education to be given. So you go to Iowa and Indiana and Idaho and all these places that are so well run. They're going to be producing education that will be the equivalent of, like Denmark is one, Norway, Sweden. Actually, China is one of the better in terms of education. And so we can't blame size anymore. You know, China has 1.4 billion people, but they're very high on their list. So one thing we're doing well on.
Aha. He talks about China being one of the highest, smartest people with education. Interesting. Yes, from Mistigo. I don't know what her name was. She would change colors and everything. Right? She would become a beautiful woman and get in bed with a man, and then he thinks he's with a beautiful woman, but then all of a sudden she would change into this thing. And I wasn't sure what was more sexier, the woman she was playing, the human, or the beast that was inside of her. I'm not sure, but from X-Men, yes, it was from X-Men. Yes, I think you're correct, Miss Debbie. Like Antiqua. Mystiqua. I don't know. I can't pronounce. I could barely see it. I'm looking through the glass on my coffee table. But you're right, Miss Debbie Fox. Once again, why? Because this woman was created with the best of the chips in her brain. The best body that silicone can make. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But no, at the end, Mystique. It's Mystiquia, whatever she was. She was blue. Had spikes all over her, which is very sexy. But, right. That's what I said too, right. All right, let's get back to this mysterious, unscheduled. I don't even think it's him. I think it's AI, Mr. Trump.
But number one on the list is cost per pupil. We spend more money than any other country in the world by far. So I jokingly say the one thing we do well on is the cost. We spend more money, and yet we're toward the bottom of the list. Yeah.
Mr. President, I want to ask you the joint address. Millions of Americans watched your joint address earlier this week, where you warned that there could be a little disturbance that Americans could feel as a function of these taxes, these tariffs. How much disturbance are you willing to accept in the near term as a function of that? And to set expectations, how long should Americans expect things to cost a bit more?
Well, so far, Peter, there hasn't been very much because these numbers are coming out. We're here for just a little over 4 weeks. And these are fantastic numbers. I was watching some of the reports this morning. They were surprised. There could be some disturbance, a little bit of disturbance. I solved a little bit of that because I have respect for our auto companies, and I gave them a little bit of a 1-month reprieve because it was unfair, although I'm sure they'll take advantage of it. I see they're driving a lot of cars into the U.S. to try and avoid the tariffs, and taking advantage of it a little bit. But they called me, they asked me, they said, could they have a little bit of help? And I decided, they're American companies, USMCA, and I let them have that. But this really kicks in, the reciprocals, kicks in on, let's see, I guess the 2nd. And I wanted it to be the 1st so badly. It just didn't want to be on April Fool's Day. So I made it the 2nd. That's going to cost a lot of money. That one day is going to cost a lot of money, but that's okay. But I don't see it. I don't see anything. I see good reports. I think we're going to have good numbers from the beginning. Now, globalists won't love this because this brings jobs back to America. So if they're coming back to America, maybe you'll lose some in other parts of the world. But the other parts of the world have done very well, and they'll continue to do very well. But I think the United States is going to be doing record business. We'll bring a lot of those 90,000 factories that have been lost over the last number of years. It's been It's hard to believe. 90,000, think of what 90,000 is. 90,000 plants and factories are gone. We're going to bring back many of those plants and factories.
One day the tariffs are on, the next day they're off. Right now, the markets, as you know well, prefer stability. Are you done going forward with the pauses and the carve-outs and that
There'll always be.
Sir, we cannot allow these companies that we got rid of because they were breaking laws and polluting our country more than they were producing that was good. And I find it hard, sir, to believe that we're having a problem with the auto business and we're shutting them down, but yet we have failed to shut down these food product factories that are pumping out, well, let's just say things we probably don't want to know about. But yet they have run and continue to run. Where were our food inspectors? Where were these people shutting them down? Well, we also found out that they were being paid behind the scenes. I don't know. Why did a $75,000 a year job of a food inspector end up becoming a millionaire? Who knows? But will we be doing anything with this, sir? Is my question. And you can only sell so many cars, sir. Right? You're in a country where most of the people are poor. So we can't afford 6 cars and 20 homes. I'm sorry, this is causing your balloon mortgage industry, which is going to pop soon. And why do I say that? Well, because, sir, nobody wants to pay $250,000 for a house that is dilapidated because it sat there for so long. And it's just the land, and the land itself was not worth the $250,000 or whatever they were asking, but which created their own mortgage bubble. And so much like these businesses that I seen on YouTube this morning that were shut down, restaurants, but yet, sir, the power remains on in these buildings. And who's paying for that electric bill? Let me tell you what happens. This electric bill, they'll continue to, our electric company will continue to supply these businesses that are closed down with electricity, restaurants, factories with electricity. And that bill will go so high, sir. And then whoever purchases that property is screwed. And why do I say that? Is because, sir, we've purchased properties before. We know this. We'll go to get a electric turned on there, and they'll say, well, there's a little problem. Well, what's that problem? Well, see, the power was never shut off, and there's a power bill. And you're going to have to pay that power bill before we can put the power back on in that place. Well, what's the bill? Well, I hope you got a lot of money. We're looking at about 50, 60 grand. You know, and then they're like, what? Oh my God, oh yeah, why didn't anyone tell you? No, they're never going to tell you that. Because that's how they get you. They got you. They created the whole thing, the madness. Now let's continue. You don't have to listen to me. I'm just an idiot, a disability mentalist, I guess. And we will continue with my chat also. Let me see what Ricardo and Debbie are saying. Afternoon, Ricardo. I think that I saw the USDA building being in the chopping blocks in South Bend. Does it help or hurt? Well, I don't know. If they don't have people inspecting the food, it's no wonder everybody's right. They're still saying stay away from Boar's Head, and I was like, oh my God. If they only knew. Let's see what Debbie said. He doesn't want to buy a whole country. This isn't monopoly. Well, he wants to buy Greenland, which he said he already talked to Greenland, and they are more than healthy or worthy help or whatever they call it. To be Americans, to be the best they can be. I'm not sure if we're going to do that deal. I really don't know. They don't tell me nothing until it's too late. And then they're just like, the world's upside down. Save us, Kramer. I can't do everything in this country. I've been doing it for way too long. They already owe me $7 quadrillion. I mean, what's another quadrillion, right? But I guess I might have to. I'm not sure. I am tired of having no idea what's going on. Well, that's part of their plan, Miss Debbie Fox. If you haven't figured it out by now, ma'am, I don't know what to tell you. It's just a ball of madness that goes around and around and around and around. I do believe it's called the crazy train. And these people have a ticket for the rest of our lives. It's just going round and round and round. Crazy, 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 crazy. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Let's get back to this speech. Let me see what Ricardo's saying. Me? No, I wasn't commenting on the 10 buildings in the state. We would use more aliens, but at what cost? Well, whenever you start bringing in them little green guys that we had locked down already in Area 51, that we had to go ahead and put there because we had them in equal opportunity housing developments. We had them in Section 8. We were putting them everywhere because we just couldn't keep up with what we were doing at Area 51 with the little green guys and the aliens and everything. It was just too much. So we had to go around and collect all these guys from all these neighborhoods and everything, these little alien dudes or whatever. And we got them at 51. And it's just been a party there. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You go in there, it's unbelievable. Now let's get back to what we were talking about here. Country
changes and adjustments. And, you can't just, I could have, for instance, told the American car companies, no, I'm not going to give you anything. And then you wouldn't have had to say, well, they're getting a little extra. It's just a little bit of a 1 month reprieve. They're very happy about what's happening. They won't have to go across borders. And you see the zigzag, and you have a fender made in Canada. You have something else made in Mexico. We don't want that. We want it made here. But there'll always be some modifications. I mean, if you have a wall in front of you, sometimes you have to go around the wall instead of through it. But I think very little. On occasion, if we can do something, we want to help companies. We want to help companies create jobs. So I could have left that, and you wouldn't have had a minor change. Instead, I was asked by the real majors, the big majors, if they could do this.
Mr. Trump question here. Johnny Kramer, YouTube, movie, music, news channel. Sir, we went through the wall. Nobody gave us orders. There must have been a broken command or something. You've been saying we'll go right through the wall for these to get our hands on these and choke the living crap. We went through it. I'm sorry, our missiles and everything. Nobody sent me any documentation. Let me look. No, I'm not seeing anything. Why didn't they send me? They always do this when it's too late. Son of a Debbie, why didn't you send me anything? Sir, I'm not seeing nothing about go around walls. I'm seeing blow holes in walls. Turn it into Swiss cheese. Bomb the shit out. I'm not seeing any of this stuff. This is crazy. And I wish they would go ahead and get me somebody that can get me the information before we go ahead and just start and lighten everything up. I'm sorry, that wall, sir, it looks like has been taken down. Nobody told me to go around the wall. They said go through it. That's what we do. Best of the best. Let's get back to it. I'm sorry, the communication breakdown, Mr. Trump. I'm really sorry.
And I said, yeah, I'll do it. I want you to produce a lot of jobs. And numerous of the people, actually all of the people I spoke to have already been, they're very much on the way to already doing it. That's why you have auto jobs increase. And the man, I don't know him, Sean Fain, I don't know him, and I did great, as you know, with the auto workers, with the Teamsters, with unions. I did fantastically well, best numbers ever by a Republican. And I have a lot of respect for those people. But Sean Fain, who I don't know, but wasn't a supporter, although the auto workers were big supporters. I watched him last night, and he said, Donald Trump is absolutely right on tariffs. He said, what he's doing on tariffs is an incredible thing. And it's about time somebody had the guts to do it, because we're going to save auto manufacturing. And I said to people when I was campaigning, you're going to have so many auto jobs, you're not going to believe what's going to happen. We're going to load up Michigan. I won the state of Michigan, as you know.
Sir, I'm looking. This is really bad, sir. We must have had a communication breakdown somewhere. I'm looking this whole tariff thing. I'm seeing, were we not supposed to do anything with, I don't know, but oh my God, my documentation sort of showing we shot the tariff, but we did not shoot the deputy. So that was not us that shot the deputy, sir. We did shoot the tariff. I'm sorry. This is horrible. I wish I could get some help here. And this documentation comes so late. Is it the mail, Mr. Trump? Is that why this documentation keeps coming? So I can't do this no more. But I'm sorry, sir. Much like the wall we were supposed to go around, I blew holes through it. And I'm sorry. We shot the tariff, but we did not shoot the deputy. And this is horrible. Debbie, can you get me somebody in here that can get this documentation to me on time? This is too much. This is horrible.
And part of the reason I won it was I got a lot of auto workers that voted for me, Detroit, etc. But I think people are going to be very surprised. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. You mentioned in your remarks chips manufacturing, how a significant percentage is now in Taiwan. You also mentioned it in your address to Congress, and you called on Congress to overturn the CHIPS Act, which had bipartisan support in the last Congress. Why would you like to see this particular law overturned, Mr. President?
Because it's hundreds of billions of dollars and it's just a waste of money. Now, some people have already taken the money and used it. Actually, it's very hard to qualify because they go by race, they go by gender, they go by all sorts of things. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. You won't be able to find those people. So I don't even think anybody can qualify. They have so many different categories in order to qualify. You have to have so many of a certain race, a certain gender, a certain this, a certain, and I don't think they can qualify, but if they take the money, they better qualify because they'll be watching them. But it's a tremendous waste of money. I didn't give the greatest chip company in the world, one of the greatest companies, I didn't give them 10 cents. They came here because of tariffs, because they didn't want to pay the tariffs. And they also came here because they like the results of the election, because they know that I'm very pro-business and pro-jobs. I mean, I'm pro-business, not for business sake. I'm pro-business because of jobs, because business is producing the jobs. Okay?
On Russia, if I may, President Putin is bombing Ukraine.
Yeah.
Do you still believe him when he tells you that he wants peace?
Yeah, no, I believe him. I believe him. I think we're doing very well with Russia. But right now they're bombing the hell out of Ukraine, and Ukraine, I'm finding it more difficult, frankly, to deal with Ukraine. And they don't have the cards. They don't have the cards. As you know, we're meeting in Saudi Arabia on sometime next week, early. And we're talking, would I find...
Mr. President Trump, if Ukraine doesn't have the cards, sir, do they have our potato chips and our computer chips? Are they the ones that have been stealing it, sir? I don't know who diabolically has been taking our chips when we got summer coming up and cookouts going. And I don't know who's been putting chips in everything around here. Even the brake system is in cars, and I can't even take a crap anymore without the chip in the dang toilet bowl, right? My bidet about killed me, right? High pressure, hit the wrong button, the chip went bad. I don't know, probably from waking up in the middle of the night, having to take a pee and then miss the toilet, right? Pitch dark. Well, whatever it may be, about killed me. Now, I don't know who's got the cards, but you can't play cards without chips. I can tell you that much. Let's get back to, what time is it? Let's get back to this real quick. I got things to do around here. He ain't got enough. Ricardo, too, says he ain't got enough time to reverse the infiltration. I wouldn't doubt it. We've been infiltrated so deep it's impacted in their bungholios. We might need a water pick from Discovery Channel's Gold Rush to get this crap out. Impacted so deep, it's just unbelievable. But I know this much. I really apologize about the miscommunication breakdown. We went through the wall that set around it. We shot the tariff, but we didn't shoot the deputy. Folks, need I say more? Need I say more? I don't think so. Now, I got things to do. I want you folks to have a great day. I'm an idiot. You're an idiot. Wouldn't you love to be an idiot too? It's pretty easy if you try. God bless you all. Have a great night. I've had enough of this monstrosity and madness. As you can see, it's pretty chilly out. And that's good. Well, not real chilly, but cold enough where the snow hasn't melted yet all the way. Now, some of you have some great points in my chat. It's just gone too far. And it's a movie. And that's what it is, a TV series, a movie. On this channel, these other channels or whatever, it might be real life, who knows. Stay at home if you can. God bless America. And we'll talk to you later. I want to thank my mod for stopping in, the great Debbie Fox, and Ricardo, and all the rest. What was that just shot across the screen? Was that a squirrel? What was it? Looked like something. Oh, it's a bird. It's a bird. You folks have a good night. Or it was a giant 20-pound mosquito.